Duperas, what is going on? It's your boy El Parcero, affiliate of all things sports and culture here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. Today on DOOP by the River, we are talking about the Union in their latest game against the Columbus Crew. Now look, we knew this was going to be a tough game. This is for first place. This was the first true test for the Philadelphia Union in the first phase of the restart. And we found out there's some things, we need to work on, but still, we should definitely be proud of this Philadelphia Union squad who fell against the Columbus Crew 1-0 in Columbus on Wednesday night of this beautiful, beautiful MLS restart. We are getting soccer back. We got this regular season coming back for the Union. This is just a little bump in the road, but we will be okay, guys, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to be just okay. Before we get started, guys, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button for notifications as well as sharing this video and the channel help to continue the growth of your favorite parcero. All right, guys. So Union versus Columbus Crew, again, final score was 1-0. And like I said, although there was no fans in the stands here in MAPFRE Stadium, I still felt like this was going to be a tough challenge for the Union. I think it's more psychological for the Union as well. We know that when they're up there in Columbus, they don't play well usually. And I still think like that mindset's still in there when it comes to the Union, when it comes to MAPFRE Stadium. They're still not used to playing there, and obviously the traveling situation is a little unorthodox, if you ask me. The MLS is really trying to look out for the safety of these players, which I really commend them for doing. But it is really tough going up to Columbus the morning of the game, and then traveling back literally right after the game and playing in Columbus against a good Columbus team. And it's not easy playing there, even though there's no fans. That's a lot to ask for from the Philadelphia Union. So just that alone, like that, I knew this was going to be a tough game. But if they could even get a point in this game, and I talked about it in the preview, if they could get a point from this game, I would have been really ecstatic. And another thing we discussed in the preview was, how would the Philadelphia Union neutralize Lucas Zelarayan, who has been playing really well in his first season with the Columbus Crew, has definitely been worth every penny that Columbus threw at Tigres for Zelarayan. And yeah, how are we going to contain him? That was definitely going to be the question. He definitely did his damage, and we'll get to it in a second. But that was one of the issues there that we had with Columbus. We knew that they are a pretty fluid attacking squad. Darlington Nagbe is playing out of his mind in this campaign for Columbus. And he showed up again here for Columbus in this match here as well. But let's look at all the Philadelphia Union real quick before we dive into the game. The formation stayed the same, no changes there. A 4-4-2 diamond as per usual. And the lineup, we had a tweak, but it was inevitable. So let's start off with our goalie. Of course, Mr. Andre Blake got to start there. And you know what? We allowed a goal in this game. I'm really not going to fault Andre Blake for that. I still think he was damn well solid. He saw, I believe, 14 shots on goal in this game here against the Columbus Crew. He saw 12 shots against the Columbus Crew. He did his thing. He only allowed one through, but again, that was not his fault, which we will get to in a second, like I said. But let's move on to the back line. So starting from left to right, we saw Olivier Mbaizo. Interesting. Mark McKenzie, Jack Elliott, and Ray Gaddis. So let's start with Mbaizo. So obviously we know Kai Wagner is a little bit tweaked. He's a little, banged up with that same leg injury that we have seen him having issues with all year long. And so we got Olivier Mbaizo in for Kai Wagner. Now look, Mbaizo's played pretty well this year in this couple of opportunities Jim Kirchin has given him. But it was just really head-scratching to see Mbaizo move to the left side when we've typically seen him play on the right side as a fullback. And it's not like Matt Real, who's usually, subs in for Kai Wagner. It's not like he's been playing bad in his opportunities. So it was definitely a question mark for me is why Mbaizo got the start over Matt Real. But regardless, Matt Real did come in the second half for Mbaizo. But it was just a little weird. It's something that I want to talk about in a little bit, but that was definitely interesting. Mark McKenzie, you can pin the goal on him if you like, but I think he still had a solid game. And same with with Elliott as well. That listen, this back line has been pretty solid for the Union in this whole entire season, and they only allowed one goal. And I don't think the back line was the issue here, and the reason why they lost the game against Columbus Crew. Ray Gaddis, another solid game by our boy. Let's move on to the midfield. Starting from left to right, we have Mr. Jamiro Montero starting the left shuttle midfielder. At that sixth role, we had Jose El Brujo Martinez. At that right shuttle midfielder, Alejandro Bedoya. And at the tip of the diamond, Mr. Brandon Bundesliga Aronson. And let's start with El Brujo Martinez, who I thought probably had not his best game with the Union, but also not his worst game with the Union. Like I said in the preview, I was really looking forward to how the Philadelphia Union would try to neutralize and try to stop Lucas Zelarayan, who has been killing it at that number 10 role for Columbus. And I really was looking forward to El Brujo versus Zelarayan, that matchup there. And I think Zelarayan, for the most part, got the best of El Brujo. There was a couple incidents where he beat him 1v1. And this was, again, this is, to me, I don't look at this as, failures. These are learning experiences. And for El Brujo Martinez, this is the first time that I truly felt like he wasn't El Brujo, per se. He did get a yellow card, so and he was playing a little bit like El Brujo. But getting beat a couple times by Zelarayan, again, these are learning experiences, and I definitely believe that he's going to improve upon them. And he's gonna face other better number 10. So hopefully he learns from this experience and we can move forward. Alejandro Bedoya, Jim, please, 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 please give Ali some rest. Please give him some rest. Ali played, this was like 60-some minutes. He came off for Warren Craval and he was exhausted. And like, that's not even the word I should be using. Like, he was beyond exhausted. And he's been playing so many minutes since he's been part of the Philadelphia Union. And granted, he's one of our better players and he's our captain, but dude, you've been selling us the depth and we see the depth of this team, so let's use it a little bit here. Continuously playing, like against DC United, in the situation that DC United was in, should we have maybe put in a lot of our starters in that game? Like these are different questions that we should be asking, but again, we're going to dive in deeper to that, but that's really all I got to say about Ali Bedoya. Just give my captain some rest. Just give him a little bit of rest. Give him a little bit of break. He's 33 years old, pushing on 34. We don't need him out there for that long of a game. Jamiro Montero, another solid game who's active on the attack, did get a yellow card. Brandon Aronson needs to finish his opportunities. He had that nice run in the 26th minute that could have opened up the scoring. Didn't finish the opportunity there, but he's continuously showing you his skill. Like, he's getting, as far as skill set wise, he's getting better. The maturation's coming game by game. And I can't wait to see what Brendan Aronson's final product is going to look like, because he's looking really good. Only at 19 years old. We keep forgetting that he's only 19 years old. It's crazy the growth he's had, even since that first start in Atlanta last year. So definitely a solid game by Mr. Brandon Aronson. Kasper Shibilko and Sergio Santos Gomes, both were the forwards in this game. Both those guys could not finish here. I think Sergio had a little bit better of a game. And again, that leg he has, it just needs to learn how to tame it. He just has too much power, and too many times he just wants to rocket balls into the net. And you see too many times the ball's sailing over the net. So he needs to learn how to tame his shot. I don't know what Jim has to do, but someone within the unit needs to work on that with him, because it's just too much power he's putting on some of these shots. He could be scoring goals, but he's just kicking them like he's Cody Parkey out there. We saw Andrew Bruton come in for Sergio Santos Gomes. That was an interesting call as well. Let's just get right into it, because this is really the one thing I took away from this game is, I guess we could say I question sometimes Jim's player selections. So like the different incidents, you saw a lot of them in this game. So the first one, like I mentioned, was putting in Olivier Mbaizo instead of Matt Rial for when Kai Wagner's hurt. Like, I don't know the reasoning or the thought process of moving Mbaizo onto the other side. This is a player who us Union fans are hoping that he can replace Ray Gaddis, but you would hope that he can be the replacement for Ray Gaddis. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a replacement. So why are you switching his position from right to left? I'm not saying he can't play that position, but I felt like he was more lethal when he's attacking from the right side. I mean, he's a right-footed player. So that was a question mark to me, especially Matt Rial has been playing pretty well, I would say. Subbing in Elsinho was not bad in my honest opinion. And there's some games where, like a game like DC or a game like Red Bull, when you're already winning, why are you bringing on an Elsinho who's old too? Like with Elsinho and Alejandro Bedoya, you gotta keep in mind that they're getting older. So if we're winning or if we don't really need the player, why are we starting them? In this game, he came in for Brandon Aronson in the 60th minute. Now, I would have left Brandon. He was playing pretty solid. And maybe I would have put him in for Sergio. Elsinho can play as that holding forward. He's pretty solid at that. And especially because he's so good on 1v1 situations, that helps that number 9 that you do have. And that's probably the substitution I would have personally done. Now, Sergio Santos did come out for Andrew Wooten. And again, why are we putting 2 players who play the same way to play up top when you need a goal? Like, if you're going to put in Wooten, we've seen it. He is not a good holding player. He's too slow to be playing as a holding forward. And you got 2 slow, prototypical number 9s playing up top when you're down 1-0. I don't agree with that either. Some of the other subs, Warren Craval for Alejandro Bedoya in the 62nd minute. Now, again, Ali had to come out. Warren Craval is a workhorse, and he's great defense. Like, you've heard me guys rave about his defensive skills. But why are we not putting Anthony Fontana in more? Fontana got some playing time in this game. He came on in the 88th minute for El Brujo. But why wouldn't we put El Brujo in, why wouldn't we put Fontana in for Ali and put in Warren in for El Brujo? That's something I'm not understanding as well. Like, why Fontana hasn't really gotten a lot of minutes since we gotten back from Orlando, and I wonder if he's in Jim Kirchin's dog pound, or he's just not showing up at practice, or Jim is saving him for the right moment. Like, I don't know. But fact of the matter is, if Brandon Aronson keeps playing the way he is, he's going to get sold. And we need Fontana, once he gets sold, to step up. And how are we expecting him to step up if he's not getting minutes? So, listen, you guys know him. I love Jim Kirchin. Jim Kirchin, to me, he's my favorite coach in Philadelphia. Yes, I love him more than Doug Peterson, believe it or not. But I think the player selections can be better. If we're being honest, if I'm giving you my honest opinion, I think the player selections could be better. Now, Zelarayan got the lone goal in the 55th minute. It was a heads up play by him. It was definitely heads up play by him. But again, I don't really blame the defense on this day. I think the defense has been really solid in 2020. If we're being honest here, I mean, obviously there's the LAFC games where you can't really stop LAFC at home, but regardless, I think the issue here in this game was the fact that our attack was not clinical on this day. We could not finish in the final third, and that really bit us in the ass at the end of the day here. So, I mean, I'm not mad. We lost. Yes, it sucks. We lost the opportunity to get in first place. But as you guys know, getting the number 1 seed is really not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the Union working on these little things, being more clinical in the final third, finding out what is our player rotation, when it is the right time to put certain players in the match. Those are the things that I want to continue seeing from the Philadelphia Union. And once we get to the playoffs, we will see what happens with the team. But I mean, obviously, you don't want to lose these games, especially against your conference foe, a team you're competing with for the top spot. You don't want to lose it, but we just have to improve upon the little things that we did wrong in this game, and I have full confidence that the Union will fix that. But next game is next Sunday, 7 o'clock, against, you already know who, the New York Red Bulls. And this game got a little bit more enticing because the Red Bulls just actually fired Chris Armas this morning. And so I don't want to gonna say this is an easy win, but you just fired Chris Armas. You look bad as it is. So I don't know. This might get ugly for the New York Red Bulls. And Jim, please do not start Alejandro Bedoya. That's all I'm asking. Just do not start Alejandro Bedoya. Give him some rest, please. Guys, that's all I got for you today. Let's keep talking, though. In the comments below, let's talk about this match here. What was your takeaway from this game? Do you agree with my thought process as far as player selections for the Philadelphia Union? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And if you guys could, it would truly mean the world to me if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and the channel to help continue the growth of your favorite parcero. And until next time, guys, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys to DOOP on, guys. I'll talk to you soon.